We are witnessing a phenomenon unprecedented in Israel. Up to now, anti-black racism has been virtually non-existent. So what explains the hysteria that gripped Israel over the black Africans, a group of foreigners making up just 0.5% of the country's population? "They had dark skin," said Michael Svard. "I can't think of any other explanation." Israel has welcomed foreign workers for decades, most of them from Eastern Europe and Asia, without generating this kind of hostility. What woman in Tel Aviv's elegant suburbs doesn't have a Filipina housekeeper to do the cooking and cleaning? Rejection of the Africans was strictly because of their color. As noted before, this is a new phenomenon, and probably springs from the growing closeness between Israel's extreme right wing and American evangelicals and white supremacists, who in turn share strong mutual connections. Many Israelis liked that Donald Trump chose advisors from evangelical, right-wing, nationalist, or supremacist circles. Former Vice President Mike Pence and ex-Secretary of State Mike Pompeo are both Christian evangelicals. John Bolton, later Trump's tell-all nemesis, is an ultra-nationalist hawk. Israelis also liked Steve Bannon, the alt-right ideologue, and Breitbart News, of course. Others who passed through the Trump White House include Stephen Miller, Julia Hahn, and Sebastian Gorka. Miller is a fervent Zionist and a xenophobe with a reflexive hatred of immigrants. Closeness to those thinkers, whose common denominator was the defense of white supremacy, has characterized the Israeli colonial right for the last 2 decades. The reverse was equally true. That's the case of Ann Coulter, a fanatical anti-immigrant media star with a big audience, who ceaselessly praises Israel's migration policy. Likewise, Richard B. Spencer, a major white supremacist who says he's surprised he isn't sufficiently appreciated in the Jewish state. "You could say that I'm a white Zionist in the sense that I care about my people. I want us to have a secure homeland that is for us and ourselves, just like you want a secure homeland in Israel." Such thinking finds fertile soil in Israel, where the right and most of the public freely embrace racist positions. Some aspects of this drift may seem laughable. After France won the World Cup in 2018, a number of Israeli commentators joked that a premier African team had actually won the trophy. But the consequences of this proximity with American white supremacy can sometimes take a frightening turn. In late April 2019, Rabbi Giora Redler, who is on the faculty of B'nai David Rabbinical Military School in the Eli settlement, was recorded saying that Hitler was correct in his ideology, and is 100% correct, except for the fact that he's on the wrong side. Read that breathtaking statement again, and you realize it's exactly what he meant. That Hitler went after the Jews instead of getting rid of the real demons, namely the Arabs or Muslims. Rabbi Eliezer Castiel, the head of the yeshiva, went on Israel's Channel 13 to say, "We believe in racism, and Arabs have a genetic problem. They don't know how to manage their country. They don't know how to do anything." When white supremacist theories spread unchecked in a society, why should such statements surprise us? Why should we be surprised when members of a U.S. congressional delegation are treated differently depending on their color? That's what happened to Donna Edwards, the first African-American to represent Maryland in Congress, when she traveled to Gaza with 2 other Democratic representatives in 2009. On their return to Israel, officials separated Edwards from her group and detained her for an hour and a half. Later, when due at the Foreign Affairs Ministry, Edwards was once again taken aside, separated from her colleagues, and interrogated for nearly 2 hours. Who was she visiting, and why had she gone to Gaza? Separating the black congresswoman from her white colleagues, and doing it in broad daylight, is yet another sign of the extent to which racism is seeping into everyday Israeli affairs, even at the highest levels, and the authorities' sense of total impunity about it. Nor should we overlook the role played by American Jews in the spread of this racism. Visit Hebron, a place where racist oppression of Palestinians is at its worst, and you'll find that the most rabid settlers, the ones who choose to live next to the tomb of the patriarchs, include many from the United States. Sarah Yael Hirschhorn is a visiting professor at Northwestern University. In her 2017 book, City on a Hilltop, she notes that many American Jews who emigrate to Israel are also religious extremists. Repelled by American diversity and integration with blacks, they prefer Israel's separateness,